Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump has announced his presidential candidacy, right? And he made a statement during a speech he gave saying that minorities thrived under his presidency. And guess who is coming out to attack him the hardest? The Asians. Now, y'all always remember the media in America and Asians blamed the Black community for all the attacks that were on them back then. But actually, this all started under Donald Trump when he kept calling it the Chinese V, right? Because we can't say certain things. And Trump kept calling it that over and over and over and over. That's where it all began. But when they were trying to get that crime bill through, they blamed the Black community. Again, the mainstream news and these Asians were full participants in putting that out there. But look at the about face they are making in this story. Last week, while announcing his presidential candidacy, Donald Trump said minorities thrived during his time in office. He said 2 years ago, when I left office, the United States stood ready for its golden age. Our nation was at the pinnacle of power, prosperity, and prestige, towering above all rivals. So he put all of that out there. So Trump said at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, this is where his campaign will be headquartered. In 4 short years, everybody was doing great. Men, women, the Blacks, Asians, and Hispanics. Everybody was thriving like never before. Now, if that were the case, Donald Trump, shouldn't you have won by a landslide and we're all thriving? I'm just saying. If we were all thriving the way that you're claiming, it should have been a landslide win for you. But listen who stepped forward to challenge Donald Trump on this. But the AAPI, which is an advocacy group for Asian hate, an organization that was created in 2020 after the rise of anti Asian hate, believe that people of color were put in harm's way during the Trump administration. They sure wasn't saying that in the media, and they sure weren't saying that in the Asian community to get that crime bill passed. What did they say, ladies and gentlemen? What did they say? Donald Trump's name did not come up at all. They were blaming the Black community. We're attacking Asians in this country. Isn't that what they were saying? But now, when Donald Trump came out and said this, the Asians are the biggest ones screaming and hollering now. But just look at the trickery, y'all. Look at the trickery. They weren't saying all of this when that crime bill was on the table. So during the pandemic in 2020, Trump's systematic use of anti Asian and Pacific Islander rhetoric really drove a sharp rise in hate incidents. Did they say that to get the crime bill passed? They didn't say this. They blamed the Black community. I'm going to keep repeating it. And I know we're Hebrews, y'all, but that's not what they were saying during those times. They were calling it the Black community, which they still are today. So that's why I'm saying it. But listen, so they're saying this stemmed from Donald Trump. But that's not what this media was saying. And remember, as soon as that Asian hate crime bill was passed, They dropped all of that in the media. You see how fast they dropped it? Don't even talk about it no more. So it just goes to show you they stepped on our backs to get what they wanted. And this mainstream media was more than happy to help them do it. Never, ever, ever stop blaming the people that deserve the blame. And that's the mainstream news in this country and the Asians for putting everything on the Black community to get that crime bill passed. All right. So now these people are saying that, the hate towards them drove up during the time Trump was in office, unjust racial profiling and overall deeper divisions across the nation. Oh, y'all saying this now? Interesting. And remember, the politicians were in on blaming us too. Y'all remember that? Don't forget that either. So let me go on. The Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism at California State University, San Bernardino, found that anti Asian hate crimes increased in 16 of the largest US cities by 145% in 2020 during Trump's time in office. Asian Americans are very angry at what China has done to our country and the world. Asian Americans are the most angry of all. I don't blame them. Trump tweeted this in on May 12th, 2020. He sent that out in a tweet. But who got blamed so that they could get that crime bill passed? It wasn't Donald Trump they were blaming. They're blaming him now, but they sure didn't blame him to get that crime bill passed. Neither did any of these politicians or the mainstream news. I feel like we're still really paying the cost of Trump's presidency and his extreme rhetoric and dehumanizing of communities of color. Sung Young, the executive director of the National Asian Pacific American Women's Forum, told Yahoo News, we want the Black community to stop attacking Asians. Yeah, that's what y'all were saying back when you were trying to get that crime bill passed. But listen to what they're saying now. Isn't it convenient? Okay, they're saying it's not just Trump's rhetoric that harm minorities, but also the policies implemented during his administration. The immigration ban that suspended visas from China, the ban on Chinese students and researchers, policies targeting the use of WeChat, and even the ban on federal racial sensitivity training. Those were some of the ones that had truly devastating impacts on our communities, she said. Nearly 2 years after the end of Trump's term in office, Asian American communities say they are still dealing with the impact of his decisions. But who did they blame to get that crime bill passed? Yes, I'm going to keep saying it. Yes, I'm going to keep saying it. See, they scapegoated the Black community, the mainstream news, the Asian community, and these politicians scapegoated off of the Black community. But if you notice, they're all upset with Trump. They're not mentioning the Black community, attacking them anymore. Now they are putting the blame on Donald Trump for what happened to them. Uh-huh. Many of our community members are being targeted, whether it's violence in the streets or some sort of discrimination, but we're still facing that. So that's like a very in our face, still present threat in our safety. All right, so this is what this Asian advocate is saying. Hmm. So, in the 2020 presidential election, Black Americans largely voted for Joe Biden, with over 90% voting against Trump. 4 in 10 of Biden's votes came from Black, Hispanic, and Asian American voters, though Trump did make some gains among Hispanic voters, according to Pew Research Center. Well, yeah, I mean, you always have some people voting for Donald Trump, and they always will. I mean, that's really, in my opinion, not anything unusual. You will always have some that will vote for Republicans. That happens in every single election. So, ladies and gentlemen, they're saying that the rhetoric drove up sharply in hate incidents, unjust racial profiling, and overall deeper divisions across America. This is according to the Asians. The Center for Study of Hate and Extremism in California, they were saying that Asian Americans, I think I read that part. So I'm sorry. So in 2020, Trump posted a dozen of tweets that used negative rhetoric against Asian Americans, and the tweets were shared over 1 million times, according to Stop AAPI Hate. Hmm. That's not what you were saying when you were trying to get that crime bill passed. You sure didn't bring none of this up. You didn't say nothing like this. It was squarely blamed on the Black community. All right. So they're acting like they are not happy about Donald Trump's announcement to run again. They're not happy about this at all. So look like Donald Trump will have many in the Asian communities coming out against his candidacy for 2024. Mm-mm-mm. So they're saying about Donald Trump, he has a strong nationalist stance, and they try to portray that as racist. Protecting our borders, building up your economy is something most Americans want. I don't see how that's racist. This is some of his, the people for Donald Trump, or some kind of dog whistle. Well, then, you know what? For you to even say that, that means you are willing to ignore a lot of the things that did happen. But you do you, okay? You do you, because that's not the way I saw it, and that's not the way many people saw it. And you remember, he was the law and order president. Y'all remember that? Law and order. Trump let you know every chance he could get, he was pro police. He was pro authorities until he got raided in Mar-a-Lago. Then y'all jumped up and start saying defund the FBI. And that's something, when we say it, it's a bunch of nonsense. If you say it, it's legitimate. Yeah, whatever. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to the story. Others have argued that Trump made key strides in the right direction for minorities and criminal justice reform. And, when it comes down to their laughable criminal justice system, nothing ever changes for us. It doesn't matter what president is in office. nothing changes for us. The unarmed killings don't end. The unjust arrests don't end. Arresting people that didn't commit crimes, that don't end. That happens under every single presidency. And Joe Biden, it is still happening under him. In fact, he doesn't believe qualified immunity should be gone. But then again, Donald Trump did not believe that either. So that when it comes down to criminal justice, they believe there should be more cops. They don't believe in helping us at all. And they haven't. Let's not act brand new about that. They haven't at all. No president has done that. So it goes on to say actor Isaiah Washington praised Trump at the time for passing the legislation. I voted for Trump, for Barack Obama, the 44th president, twice, even checked my emails in his Senate office while lobbying. And he lobbied for Sierra Leone to be given a chance to rebrand, but not once in 8 years I given support regarding Africa or the Black agenda. But 45 invites me to the White House to celebrate the hashtag First Step Act. Washington tweeted, but advocates say the First Step Act had overwhelming support before Trump got involved. He was trying to take credit for something that would have happened with or without him, which is, frankly, typically Trump. This part of it is a bunch of BS. Ethnic minorities did not thrive. In fact, Trump was able to nominate no Black individuals to any appellate federal court in the country. We've already seen those effects: abortion, healthcare, voting rights, all of those areas where he did things that helped himself and the Republican Party. Advocates say they are still working to reverse the damage from Trump's time in office. I think that if he were to get reelected, is going to give him the megaphone and the microphone again to ignite that kind of racism and bigotry. So, ladies and gentlemen, we shall see what happens, but look like the Asians are the group that's going to come out against Trump the hardest this time around in his 2024 run. But y'all said it was the Black community attacking you. You were getting attacked by us. But now that Trump announced his presidency, you are pointing the finger at Trump. Ain't that something, y'all? When are we not scapegoated in America? For real. If there's a gain to be made and we're the ones to be stepped on, they're going to step on us each and every time. So, y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.